Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the. This is. I was like, wait a second. That's funny. Welcome to the Minnesota Hmong Chamber Annual Banquet to celebrate the contributions of Hmong businesses and professionals to all of Minnesota. We live in a richer, more vibrant, diverse community because of you. Thank you. A big thanks to our sponsors, especially our platinum sponsor, AK Equity Group. We'll hear from them a little bit later. And a big thanks to our special guests, United States Senator from Minnesota, Tina Smith, keynote speaker Mainza Ta, and Mr. Suicha, or Pinoy, as some of you may know him by. And thank you to our many volunteers in the St. Paul Hmong Alliance Church for this beautiful venue tonight. I'm honored to be here tonight as a former TV news anchor and reporter and now a journalism educator at the University of St. Thomas, training young leaders, thinkers, and storytellers. I've covered and seen my share of stories about resilient Hmong businesses and stories about inspiring Hmong professionals. Each of those stories showcase humans overcoming adversity, economically and socially, grit in the face of tough times, and a hunger to learn and grow and seek equity. You know, one of the first stories I've ever heard about any Hmong business was about a young Hmong refugee. The story you may know. He and his wife arrived in St. Paul, Minnesota in 1978. They had 9 children. Their first 2 died from malnutrition while the family fled through the jungles of Laos. Just a few years after arriving in America, he sought to solve a desperate challenge for his growing Hmong community. Where in this new and strange land can Hmong people find any familiarity? Their fruits and vegetables, their rice, candies and snacks, their familiar drinks, and a friendly Hmong face to greet them and answer questions, sometimes even allowing them to write down an IOU until the family can get paid again. This entrepreneur opened one of Minnesota's first Hmong-owned businesses and grocery stores called LH Oriental Store in South Minneapolis, before it was relocated to Western and Selby Avenues in St. Paul. You need it higher? Okay, all right. Noah, I'm coming in at 5:50. Is that okay? 5:50. The store flourished until shortly after his untimely death in 1988. His name was Sai Gong Bang, and he was my father. I was 3 years old when he died. More than 3 decades Welcome, everyone. Please find your seats. We will begin momentarily here with the national anthem. Here from the Cha-Changs, please welcome Nuchi and Jani Chang. Please rise for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you loudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. And yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Did anyone else get chills from that? The harmony, thank you so much. These are sisters from Cha-Chang. You can book them out, I'm sure of it. We have their parents right in the front row, so congratulations. You can connect with them afterward. Well, thank you, everyone. And 여정 to you, 이종그띠닝짱, gyopongyi Good evening to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hmong Minnesota Chamber annual celebration to celebrate the contributions among businesses and professionals to all of Minnesota. We live in a richer, more vibrant, more diverse community because of all of you. So thank you. A big thanks to our sponsors this evening, especially our platinum sponsor, AK Equity Group. We'll hear from Kay a little bit later on. A big special thanks to our special guests, United States Senator here. I apologize for that. P. Noise, what you guys know him as. And thank you to our many, many volunteers who have helped out for the last several days for this event. And to the St. Paul Hmong Alliance Church for this beautiful venue tonight. Please give a round of applause to all of those folks. I am honored to be here tonight. As a former TV journalist, anchor and reporter, and now a journalism educator at the University of St. Thomas, training the next generation of leaders, thinkers, and storytellers, I have covered and seen and shared my own stories about resilient Hmong businesses and stories about inspiring Hmong professionals, some of you in this room. Each of those stories showcase humans overcoming great adversity, economically and socially, grit in the face of tough times, and a hunger, a deep hunger to learn and grow and to seek equity. This young Hmong refugee and his wife arrived in St. Paul, Minnesota in 19 years after arriving in Minnesota with limited English, no formal education, no business training, no MBA. This man sought to solve a desperate challenge for the growing Hmong community, his Hmong community. Where in this new and strange and foreign land can they find any familiarity? Their own friend, when they go into a store, who's going to greet them and answer questions, and even sometimes allowing them to write an IOU. That is long gone, an IOU. Until I get paid again, I'll come back. This entrepreneur opened one of Minnesota's first Hmong-owned businesses and grocery stores. It was called LH Oriental Store in South Minneapolis, before it was relocated to Western and Selby Avenues in St. Paul. For some of you, it's kind of sounding familiar, maybe. The store flourished until shortly after his untimely death in 1988. His name was Sai Kong Van, and he was my father. I was 3 years old when he died. And more than 3 decades later, more than 30 years later, I still hear stories about how grateful people are, how grateful the community was for allowing him to go to Chicago, grab the produce from complete strangers I meet today. And decades from now, I guarantee it, the stories of our current Hmong businesses and professionals will ring loud and clear about how our generation inspired, uplifted, paved the way, and left a lasting impression. I'm talking about many of you in this room tonight. So thank you for blazing the trail for the next generation of Hmong business owners and professionals. Our first speaker this evening, he's been leading and building the Hmong Minnesota Chamber for many, many years, all while as a volunteer. Please welcome everyone, Basi Yang, the board chair of the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, MC Bao. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Minnesota Hmong Chamber Annual Banquet 2019. My name is Pasi Yang, Chair of the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce. It's great to see all of you. According to my record, we should have a full house. But it must be a nice day, so a lot of them probably either fishing or it's too early for them. No matter what, we have to move on. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, my staff, the board members, advisor, volunteer, and most of all, sponsors. And last, it's my wife, she's missing. I saved the chair for her, but she's missing. Cooking down and waiting for us. So I hope that you have a chance to go say hi to her when we go to eat in the kitchen. Tonight, we have some of the amazing speakers, especially Pinoy, all the way from Thailand. Pinoy has been a friend of the Hmong since 23 years old. And I met Pinoy back in December. I said, Pinoy, when can you come speak to our event? He said, when are you going to hold the event? I said, okay, let's make one for you. So that's why Pinoy is here tonight. And you will hear from Pinoy how close and how dedicated Pinoy has done to the Hmong community. And thank you, Honorable Tina Smith, our U.S. Senator, for your time and your dedication and your service. And we look forward to work with you in many years. And last, Manzar from Wisconsin, a great executive director, someone that I always look up to her. What she has done in the Wisconsin Chamber, it's amazing. She will highlight and share what she has done to the Wisconsin Chamber community. And I hope when you hear her messages, we need to wake up I work harder. Lastly, even though my wife's not here, I cannot close to thank you, my wife, for the last 3.5 years that she's the number one supporter behind me for the chamber. And tonight, she's not here. She volunteered for a role that she didn't ask for. And she's an amazing lady. Every meeting in the past, every event, she always the one that cooked for us. So I hope that when you go down there, you get a chance to taste her food, and please at least say hi to her. That way, so she won't be so mad at me. As you know, for the last 2 days, I have not been to the kitchen. We've been running around, and then, so early I went to the kitchen. I said, well, she's gonna yell at me, so I better not say anything wrong. But anyway, she's a great lady, so I really appreciate as a wife, as a partner, as a number one supporter for the chamber. And thank you to her. Again, thank you for all being here tonight. So I'm going to cut it short. Let's hear from our great speaker. So I look forward to all of you to go down. She make a lot of food. We prepare food for 500 people. So you better finish the food before we go home. Thank you.
United States Senator from Minnesota Tina Smith is a former businesswoman herself, having her own marketing firm, consulting firm, and our former Lieutenant Governor. We're honored to have you here with us to share a few words. Please welcome everyone, U.S. Senator Tina Smith.
Good evening, everyone. I want to just thank you so much, especially to your board chair, Pausi wife, because I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I do not want you to be in trouble. I think that communities are knit together because I also want to congratulate the Hmong Chamber of Commerce for over 20 years of serving this community. It is an honor to be here with you tonight to see what you have done to strengthen this community. You know, Minnesota is proud to be proud to be home to the second largest Hmong community in the country. I am so grateful to me to represent you in the United States Senate. Thank you. The Hmong community shapes Minnesota today, both culturally and also economically, from farming in rural and urban communities to small businesses in rural and urban communities. You are working hard to create a future of prosperity for all of us here in this state. And I want to note that to continue that process, the Hmong Chamber is leading the way with innovative approaches such as the Accelerated Business Training Program, which is an important step to help share knowledge and skills and resources that are so necessary to create and grow successful businesses. So in this work, you are empowering a new generation of entrepreneurs and building a positive future for Minnesota for many generations to come. And as I stand before you this afternoon, this evening, I want you to know that I am committed to being your partner and continuing to advocate for small businesses and the entrepreneurial spirit that animates the American dream. So I hope that we can continue to work together on issues of such great importance to entrepreneurship and small businesses, including expanding access to capital for small businesses, and also to working together to develop the excellent workforce that is so important for small businesses, all businesses, to be able to thrive. As you heard, I stand before you, yes, as your United States Senator, but also as a small business person once myself. I moved to Minnesota with my brand new husband, Archie, in 1984, and after working for a few years at a big company, General Mills, I left to form my own business. So I know a little bit of what it's like to meet a payroll, to have a dream of what your business can do, not only for your family, but for your community, and then the thrill of watching that business grow and thrive and create more opportunity for more people. So with that vision in my mind and a sense of shared purpose with all of you, I want you to know that I will continue to work with you to make sure that this state, our Minnesota, is a place where everyone has the opportunity and the freedom to build the lives and the dreams that they have. So thank you again so much for inviting me to speak with all of you today. I am sure that you will have a very successful evening, including a delicious dinner at the end. And thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of your celebration. Thank you.
Wisconsin, what can we say? I lived there for many years, born and raised here in Minnesota, though. While we love to hate them, we're also watching and admiring their work from across the border. A lot of our fondness is because of the work and vision of Mainza Tom, the executive director for the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. Under Mainza's leadership, the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce has deployed the most business loans in its history, something to the tune of $1.5 million. Incredible. And the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce opened its first satellite office in central Wisconsin in 2017, something that greatly benefited my own in-laws who own Wausau World Market in Wausau. And next up for them, the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce has their sights on better supporting the needs of businesses, of Hmong-owned businesses in the Fox Valley region, so watch out for that. I follow Mainza on Facebook and I think, oh my goodness, she's all over the place, Wisconsin, Minnesota, so many other places. How does she do it all and still is the rock solid mom that she is, and a wifey too, your husband is with you. Please welcome everyone, Mainza Ta.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much to Bao. I actually had the honor of meeting Bao just a couple years ago, as she was saying, when her parents-in-law opened up the Wausau World Market. And she emceed the grand opening at that time, and I just thought, man, I need to be like this woman. So thank you so much, Bao. Ấn đây chấp là Jean Sha hát thảo châu châu bắt thành bắt thị của phèn nhau hồ lần nào nè được hỏi lần nào được cũng là ha tôi chỉ thọ hơi chữ bây giờ cho nó cho cho nó chữ cái tin anh trang bây giờ là luật phong yêu sốt lờ của yên Jean Sha hiện ở tại Hmong Chamber nhớ trong Minnesota tàu giờ của tôi hay ở bên lúa ha vì tại của là của yên luôn luôn nhớ trong Saint Paul nó thì cậu bé lui chọn cloud nó thì của Charlie một yok cái giờ nhớ trong Wisconsin thì Charlie họ chỉ một nhớ Wisconsin tôi chỉ của training của nãy tại của nãy của giáo viên giàu của giáo nữ mua bớt sụt lại chỉ nhớ nó đưa mấy nhớ Saint Paul nó đời li bao tàu introduce là ha của ya Mainza Ta là ya nạp phun sai taตัวMilwaukee của tụi của ya phun sai ta nữa họ ya từ sở nhớ hòn tròn đá họ ha khai là họ cho mấy sụt lại thọ rằng nó chỉ cho cô ha cho họ bé là cô chỉ một sự hợp lại thì cô yo hay ở bé lù luang kỹ là sư ấy chali sự hợp chali một cái ý nhỏ sai ra nè. Good evening, everyone. To our elected officials, friends, business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders, I'm very honored to be here with you all today. My name is Mainza Tao, and I'm the Executive Director of the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. Betsy has been inviting me for the last couple of years to come and attend, and my schedule always conflicted, and this year I promised him I would be here. And so he booked me out like 5 months ago, and so that's why we made it happen. And I thank you so much for your patience, Betsy. I also want to quickly just thank my husband, Punsai Tao, because I wouldn't be able to do this job, as Bao was saying, I would not be able to do this job without a spouse who's fully supportive, and my children as well, because I am all over the state, and you'll see a map of where we are in Wisconsin. I also have a couple of my staff members here as well. We have just in the last couple of weeks grown our team so we could afford to have a couple of our staff members here. Meng Shong, who covers our central Wisconsin region. Meng, if you would stand. And then also one of our newer staff members who covers our Fox Valley region, Phi Long Vu. Thank you very much. And of course, I had to invite my family here in Minnesota too, in St. Paul, because if you're Hmong and you don't do that, that's not great. So if I could have my family who lives here in St. Paul, and you too, if you all would please stand so everyone knows who my family is. Thank you. So I do not have a clicker, so I'm gonna ask whoever is in the back and controlling my PowerPoint just to, I'll kind of direct you along the way. I was asked to come tonight to share a little bit about what we do at the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. So a little bit of who we are. We are a statewide U.S. Department of Treasury certified community development financial institution, CDFI for short. So this certification is a huge certification. The government does their due diligence to ensure that you are fully qualified to be a CDFI, that you have demonstrated the infrastructure and the capacity to be a CDFI. And so we are honored. We are we're actually, I think, the baby CDFI in Wisconsin. All of our fellow CDFIs in Wisconsin have been around for many, many years. So we are about 5 years old in terms of being a CDFI. And in that realm, we work in economic development. So I always have to tell folks, we are not a traditional chamber because that's not what our community needs from us right now. What our community still needs from us is for us to be helping them advance to that next level of economic development. So we are a statewide economic development. The next slide, please. This is our mission statement. We are here to make sure we're providing financial resources and technical support to underserved communities throughout Wisconsin to make sure that we are, again, advancing these communities economically to the next level. Now, we work with all underserved communities with a very special focus on our Hmong and Asian American community. Next slide, please. So this is Wisconsin, and I know you all know Wisconsin. And I think conceptually we all know where the cities are in Wisconsin, but when you take a look at this map, this is the craziness that myself and my team, that we have to travel throughout the state. And this is, over the years, as I've talked to Betsy, this is why I just think, and home is here, right? The Twin Cities, I hail from here. And so I often look at Wisconsin and compare it to Minnesota, and I just think, wow, guys, like, we do a lot of traveling in Wisconsin. I would travel from anywhere from 45 minutes from where I'm headquartered in Milwaukee to as far as 5 hours away. That's my weekly, bi-weekly, monthly schedule. You know, and here in the Twin Cities, you all are right here in the Twin Cities, right? Concentrated here. And so it sometimes amazes me about, you know, what is going on with our community here in the Twin Cities. And so that's where we go statewide. We have our central Wisconsin office, and again, looking to open other satellite offices because we need to have that physical presence in our communities there. What we do is we provide access to capital that the U.S. Senator spoke about. Our Hmong community needs that access to capital. So we often tell folks we work with the high-risk populations that our traditional financial institutions will not work with, meaning banks, because our communities continue to be underbanked or unbankable. And so we have created our own revolving loan fund, which has been around for over a decade, but did not really truly get activated until about 5 years ago. So to date, we have deployed out over $1.5 million, and that does not seem like a lot, but keep in perspective, we do micro lending. So our loans were at the $25,000 level to the $35,000 level. And so with that amount, we have deployed out over $1.5 million to our Hmong-owned and other underserved businesses throughout the state. And with that amount, we've also leveraged in over $9.5 million to our businesses. That leverage is pulling in other fellow economic development partners to lend with us to these businesses, as well as even banking partners to lend to our businesses. So that's the leverage, that's the strength that we bring to the table with the work we do with our minority businesses. On top of just the lending, we also provide the technical assistance. That's the whole wraparound service of making sure that we are supporting our businesses to be as successful as possible. So with the team that we have, when I first started at the Chamber, I was the sole full-time staff, and our then executive director was only half-time. And then 6 months after I started, he retired, and I inherited the Chamber. So I was the sole staff for a year and a half, just trying to figure out what are we doing with this organization, and running throughout the state, running that circuit of just knocking on doors, really grassroots level, of saying, hey, we're here, we have resources to provide. And we grew from me to 2 staff, and then to 2.5, and again, just a couple weeks ago, now we are up to 8 staff members. But we do the lending. Thank you. It's been a rough road, guys. But it's been a very fulfilling road. So what my staff does is they provide the technical assistance. We do a lot of hand-holding. We do the pre-loan application hand-holding all the way to post-loan. We also work with clients who are not looking for a loan, but they just need help with their business. That's a lot of hours. We work with over 300, on average, over 300 businesses a year. And you think about the level of hand-holding we do, that's a lot of hours. And thank goodness for the last few years, I've had Meng and Jur back home who got me through those couple of years, and now we've got new team members to continue doing that work. We connect with over 3,000 individuals every year through various community engagement opportunities. We provide over a dozen educational workshops as well to make sure that folks have a place to come and learn and build capacity on how to run a business. And we do all of this throughout the state. It's not all just in Milwaukee. The next slide as well. We do a lot of collaborating. We work hard to build a strong ecosystem because we can't do this work alone, and we have limited resources. Because our loans were capped at the time at $35,000, we had to make sure we had partners who would work with us to lend to our businesses. And so it was about building that ecosystem of other economic development organizations who would find value in our community and support our community as well. So up in the photo behind me there, I'm shaking hands with our Wisconsin District Office for the U.S. Small Business Administration. They are a strong partner of ours. We also have other CDFIs we work closely with, and then we make sure we bring our elected officials to meet our Hmong businesses as well. So the bottom corner picture was our former Lieutenant Governor, who was very involved with our community and our small businesses, and she would come out and we would hold community forums with her around entrepreneurship. Next slide, please. So on top of the work we do, we always have to try to fundraise. That's always the big issue with nonprofits. So we hold two big events every year, our golf outing, and then the next slide, our biggest event of the year is our annual banquet. Last year's banquet was our biggest banquet yet at over 500 folks from all over the state. And this is when I look at Minnesota and I think, you guys are all right here in the Twin Cities. I have folks traveling from 5 hours away to attend our banquet. We even actually had some of our Minnesota folks come and attend last year as well. But this was over 500 folks who attended, and it is such an amazing banquet because it honors our community. It honors the successes of our entrepreneurs and our businesses. And if you could keep going with the slides. Last year, we launched our first annual business expo where we highlighted our Hmong businesses as well as several of our partners. Huge success. We had over 20 business exhibitors, and we maxed out on the space. So now we're trying to figure out how do we do this this coming year. Next slide, please. We make sure we are visible. Unlike here in Minnesota, where we have such a strong, our Hmong community has such a strong presence, in Wisconsin, we have to fight for that visibility. We are the minority of the minority. So we don't have strong Hmong elected officials in Minnesota, in Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, we have one Hmong elected official, Judge Gajua. And then we have other elected officials, but they're outside of Milwaukee. So we have to fight hard to have some visibility and some inclusion. And we have done, I think, a decent job. We have received numerous recognitions with elected officials, with the Small Business Administration, in the city, being acknowledged with other economic development leaders. That's huge because then we can leverage more resources back into our community. We also have learned to partner with other organizations. Last year, we partnered with one other CDFI, our American Indian Chamber of Commerce, and we won a $250,000 grant. The two organizations partnered to share staff because we need to build capacity. And then we also then partnered with 4 other CDFIs and won a $3.5 million award. This is what funders are looking for now. They're looking for partnerships and collaborations and cross-culturally. So just something for you all to kind of keep in the back of your mind. At the end of the day, the work that we do is all about these folks. It's not for us. It's for our Hmong businesses who have sacrificed so much to get to where they are. And then I get really emotional, so you'll have to forgive me. Because we couldn't do this work if we weren't truly passionate about our community. And this is what I tell Betsy all the time about doing this work. You're overworked, underpaid, but you do it because you're passionate about bringing the community to another level. And the next slide, too, shows all of our award winners every year that we really honor. And our banquet has become this symbol of our community and how we are growing together. And it's such an inspiring event, and I hope that you all will come join us. Our event is coming up October 3rd. It's on a Friday evening, but it is definitely an event to experience. So please do come join us. And I know that there is a young woman back there giving me my time. So I just want to say thank you again. And I think, Betsy, your leadership in the last couple of years has been significant. And because, again, St. Paul is home to me, is my hometown, I really urge you all to really, stand up and support the Hmong Chamber here. You all have so much more potential. The work should be this much easier for you all because you're not traveling all over the place to have people remember who you are. And you have such a strong community here already, as well as very, very successful businesses already. And if you could do at least start with a sound foundation to start building resources for the community, you could move the business community that much higher, and we could start building wealth within our Hmong community. And my last message to our community, as I tell our Hmong folks back home, is there's nothing wrong with building wealth. We should be making money. I mean, why work so hard if we're not trying to build wealth? That's what our community needs to get to the next level around, is that wealth building and the business development piece that comes with it. So again, I just urge everyone here to please keep supporting the Hmong Chamber here in Minnesota to leverage as much as you can and to build those relationships with other organizations to really lift up our communities. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mindset. And we are listening, we are watching, and we are admiring. Thank you for driving all the way over here for this event. Our next speaker is Noah Herr. Born and raised in Wisconsin, and up until a month ago, he had never been to the Minnesota State Capitol. A week into his job as interim executive director, he was invited to testify in front of the Minnesota Senate, and then a week later, in front of the Minnesota House. In this last month alone, my goodness, he has been to the state capitol more than most of us will ever in our lifetime. Noah is a visionary leader. He's passionate, energetic. One of our friends said tonight, he's a talker. Yes, he is. And many times he's so focused, he's intense, but good intense. He's passionate. I am so honored that I get to call him my husband and the father of our 3 children. Please welcome everyone, Noah Herr.
Thank you, honey. Whew. Thank you, guys. Mindser, thank you for your words. I think it would be easy for me to say, hey, we're just going to do what Mindser did. But as many of you know, many of you who are business owners, sometimes the road is not that easy. And so, what I want to share with you guys tonight is, 6 months ago, I left my job as a account manager with a facility maintenance company. It had a decent salary, the benefits were all right, and it allowed me to always be on the go. I love being on the go. As Bao shared, I'm very intense, sometimes too intense. But one thing was missing and had been missing from all my previous job, and that was purpose. And so I woke up one morning and, did what I normally do, taking care of issues, and I just said, hey, you know what, maybe it's time to find something with a little bit more purpose, even if it is a little underpaid, as Mindset alluded to. So I did the best thing anyone could do in that situation. I had to hit the reset button. I left and used my time off to explore more about me, what I love, what inspires me, and what causes me to get up every day. And it was actually my wife, Bao, who, like many men out here, like what Betsy had alluded to earlier, who knows us better than we know ourselves, who reminded me that my passion is for business, our Hmong community, and creating greater wealth and prosperity for all the underserved. Fast forward, I found the Minnesota Hmong Chamber website, called up Betsy and told him, hey, I want to get involved. And he said, hey, good timing, Noah. We're actually looking for an executive director. I thought to myself, this is my dream job. I'm honored Betsy and the entire board shares with me, shares my vision to elevate this organization to the next level, to the level that Mindset has done. I hear you talking about a year and a half walking alone, and that scares me. But hopefully, with all of you here, I will have your support. I want to build upon the incredible work that Betsy has done and led during his time. He launched the Accelerated Business Training class, where some of the students are here with us even tonight. Together with Betsy, we introduced the bill to find some financial funding for this business training in the Minnesota State Legislature. The Hmong Chamber in this past year collaborated with Ramsey County Commissioner Blake Huffman on the Journey Home project for the Hmong veteran Joshua Thor. And as well as working alongside many local and international dignitaries to bring more awareness to the challenges and success of Hmong businesses and professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, as your interim executive director, I look forward to strengthening our membership with your support, being a cheerleader for every Hmong business and professional, and creating a strategic plan to ensure the longevity and prosperous organization with the Minnesota Hmong Chamber. The time is right for now for our entrepreneurial spirit to thrive here in Minnesota, to have a strong chamber. And I am committed to making sure that our voices as a Hmong business community is heard. I'll be back again during dinner to share with how you can help us amplify Hmong businesses and Hmong professionals. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Noah. This banquet and the future of the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce is impossible without the support of our sponsors. We invite Kay Yang to join us from AK Equity Group to share a few words. Thank you for your platinum sponsorship.
Okay, thank you. Cũng chỉ tu chính giờ được hạt tiền bé chọn mẫu mì gà nó mà bé chân tự sư bé chuyện J này yeah. So that's why we have to have a piece of paper. So. Okay, so nhớ trong số này chỉ có tin cha phong yêu trời. Trong xưa thì ở châu rồi giờ suy chúa ở đi trường châu của tôi hay ở bên lầu đầu tiên à. Ở đây chấp lời nó của sát thọ châu nó của tôi chỉ thế. Mỗi người sẽ chơi của thế li sở tàu thì nó thế, của thế li ở tàu itu chain it chế là do địa itu chain nên qua lao lụa. So thank you everyone. Thank you for inviting me to be part of your night. I am delighted and honored to be standing in front of a room full of beautiful ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kay Yang and I reside in Wisconsin. Many of you know me as the makeup lady or international catalog model, and that's okay too. I do recognize a few of you. But what I've not shared with many of you is that I'm also the CEO of AK Equity Group and Sapphire, money manager and hedge fund company based out of Delaware. Our company manages both US and global hedge funds. Our innovation sector hosts high-tech and startup companies. We hope to have our own banking system in just a couple of years, and currently we are working to take one of our company IPO. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is not to come up here and brag or even to say I'm better than anyone or even to advertise my business, but I believe that we are where we are today because it is where we plant our hearts. Each of us have a vision. Either you are living your vision or you have a vision. And we're here in this room because we all have the same vision, or we want the same thing. We want to be part of a change. And we should embrace change because change is a good thing for us. And that's exactly what the Hmong Chamber of Commerce is doing, is contributing to change. And I urge all of you to contribute to that change. I arrived here in America when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and I landed in Ohio. I grew up not knowing too much Hmong, but like many of you in this room, I never forgot where I came from. And I'm not going to talk about my struggles or about refugee. I know you guys have heard that story like a million times, and I'm not going to bore you. That's another day. I'll save it for. But I will emphasize that struggle is ultimately the reason why we are who we are and where we choose to be in life. Had my family not struggled and have I not struggled, I would not be here today. would not be sharing who I am and what I am doing if I didn't struggle and if I wasn't at the level that I am today. And again, as I said, I'm not here to brag or to talk about that I am better than anyone, but I have built this company from bottom up. Just a young city girl, more like country, right? And as I continue to tell people about my stories, my life stories, I used to be so embarrassed to tell people. Sorry. I used to be so embarrassed to tell people that my family had a worm business. I know that's something that all of us have endured or seen in the past, and we don't talk about it. But I am proud to stand up here and say that I have a global hedge fund company that I have built from nothing. We have teams based in London, we have team in Switzerland, we have teams in China, we have US team. Over the years, I've actually had a chance to work with some of the most prestigious investment firms, bankers, brokers, top lawyers, multimillionaires, billionaires, even some of the top lawyers who worked for Rothschild, Rockefeller, Federal Reserve. I've worked with all of them. You may think this community is very tiny, but just like some of your teachers, your doctors, when you are in that field, everyone seems to know each other. I work very closely with them, and let me tell you guys something. There's one thing they all have in common, and I know you guys won't believe me, but I will tell you that they want to see all of us succeed. They want us to accentuate. They want us to get to the top. Why? Because they want this economy to grow. If this economy doesn't grow, it'd be like those third world countries, how we see what it's doing. But because they want us to grow, they want the economy to grow, they want all of us to step up our game. And I really applaud the Hmong Chamber of Commerce and even the Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce to continue doing the things that you guys are doing. I'm happy to support. I'm happy to be here. Don't ever hesitate to call on me. I want to see all of us succeed, and I'm here, and I have always been behind the scene. I've always just been the makeup lady because I wanted to protect myself. I wanted to protect my family. I did not want to come out and tell people who I was. But today, I am Kay Yang. I'm the CEO of AK Equity Sapphire Money Manager Group, so feel free to call on me if you ever need me or if there's anything that I can help you with. Always remember that when we support each other, we do create endless opportunities. And I hope that now that you've heard my 3-4 minute elevator speech, that you'll remember to press that button so it gets back to the bottom and pick up a new group of leaders. Because when you're at the bottom of this elevator, there's nowhere else to go but back up. So I look forward to meeting all of you guys and to talking to each one of you. Thank you.
You have an incredible story, and we love that Southern twang as well. From Ohio, who would have thought? Next, we're going to invite someone who I often get mixed up with because we share the same name. The executive director of the Hmong American Partnership, HAP, in town here. Please welcome everyone, Bao Vang.
Good evening, everyone. Hmong American Partnership like Bao said, I get the privilege of taking credits for a lot of things that she does because we share the same name. So people will always come up to me and say, and congratulate me and talk about how much they appreciate my coverage, and I say, yep, thank you. But little did they know that there's actually 2 different Bao Vang. And so I said, it's okay, all Asians look alike. So thank you very much. I'm so pleased to be here with you tonight. It's an honor to be among so many friends, allies, champions, and movers and shakers of our communities, and our distinguished guests and politicians that are here with us tonight. Since I get the pleasure of being up here, I always like to throw in some really profound data that demonstrate the accomplishments of our community, and so if you allow me to share some data with you. So as we think about all of the keynote speakers, wonderful speakers that have gone before, I would like to say that I see a theme going on here. I don't know if you do, but from Minnesota, right, from Minnesota. So I'm starting to think, you know what, I think that the assumptions that people make about Minnesota is actually true, although we are the 2nd largest Hmong population state. I believe that we are number 1 in terms of producing movers and shakers and leaders of our community. Wouldn't you say? So when I was asked to be the keynote speaker for Wisconsin Chamber, Hmong Wisconsin Chamber, I met Mainza and I said to Mainza, hurry up with your honeymoon and come back to Minnesota because you're my succession planning. So fast forward 6 years now, and I'm just thrilled, and I've been following Mainza's work, and she is just an amazing leader who has contributed greatly to the state of Wisconsin. So yes, Wisconsin, yeah, we accept your appreciation for lending Mainza to you. So within the last 4 years, within the last 12 years, I've had the privilege of serving as President and CEO of the Hmong American Partnership. Again, as my sisters have already said, the work that we're doing is actually not work, because it is our community and it's our passion. So if it's not us, then who? And if it's not now, then when are we gonna do the work that needs to be done to uplift our community? And so that's the passion that comes out of all of my sisters who've spoken to you tonight. I share those passions. So as I think about what role do we have as a community-based organization, I often think about what data do we need to collect, because every time you talk to people, it's about show me the money or show me the data, right? And so as I think about the work that we do, I think there would be a missed opportunity if we also do not highlight our accomplishments. So please allow me to share some data with you that compares 1990 to 2011, which is about, a while ago. So, data's old, but unfortunately, census is only every 10 years, and so we continue to use these data. So just know that I share the data with you, that they're 2011 data. So in terms of the Hmong progress in Minnesota, since 2011, so comparing 1990 to 2011, our high school completion rate went from 21% to 26%. Individuals in our community that has obtained some college went from 14% to 29%, and those that obtained bachelor's degree went from 2% to 9%. Masters went from 1% to 2%. Doctorate degree went from 0 to 0.5%. And when I say doctorate degree, I think you would appreciate that when we enter the United States, we only have one person that has a PhD that I think we all know, right? And that is Dr. Yang Dao. And I'm pleased to say that as we talk about the accomplishments of our community, that most recently I looked at the number again, and we are nearly 1,000 in our community for those that have attained a PhD, DD, MDs. But what's more profound about that is that nearly 50% of that number among women. So let's give them a round of applause. Our lifetime earnings during that period, from 1990 to 2011, went from 4 billion to 40 billion, and our poverty rate went from 62.3% down to 27.6%. Home ownership went from 12.1% to nearly 50%. And our estimated state and local taxes that we paid as Hmong Americans went from $9.5 million to $80 million that we paid. But this is a piece that is really important and relevant to the work of the chamber. And that is that our buying power within that period went from 62 million to 523 million, and that's nearly 10 years ago, in the state of Minnesota. Collectively, the buying power of the Hmong community is about $2.3 billion. When you think about percentage of Hmong people in managerial role, in 1990 to 2011, that went from 13% to 21%. And again, this next fact or data is also very important because the businesses or firms or companies within the Hmong community understanding that there are a margin of errors or undercounting. From 1990, 786 firms to 2011, 3,219 firms. So kudos to all of our Hmong businesses. So I share all of this with you because as a Hmong American or Hmong Minnesotans, we have provided a vibrant energy to Minnesota's economy. We have transformed Central Corridor like University. We have started our own market town, Hmong Village in Hmong Town, that produces many entrepreneurs and give many of our people the opportunity to live the American dream of owning their own businesses. I have some of my charter school leaders here. We have started our own charter schools, transforming our own kids, employing hundreds of people. But we all didn't do this because there was a powerful engine that gave us access to resources and opportunity. We all did this because of the American dream and of the experience that we've gone through and our resiliency and our quest or our passion for wanting to move forward as a community. So I share this with you because we have a lot of work to do. And as my sister Meinzer says, Hmong Minnesotans here has tremendous opportunity. When I think about 40 years of accomplishments, as I share with you, this next 40 years presents tremendous opportunity as we think about the number of businesses and jobs that are available to our community and how young we are as a community to capitalize on these opportunities. So I call upon all of us. It is our collective responsibility because when I think about the chamber is just not a vehicle that provides microloans or makes small connections. The chamber is a foundation that can seed Fortune 500 companies with entrepreneurs coming out of our community. We have millionaires, we have successful businesses in our community, and those individuals need to give back in terms of their mentoring, in terms of their time and their journey, and be willing to share and mentor the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs. It is our collective responsibility to do that. When I think about our economic empowerment and an engine that we have created in the state of Minnesota here with little support, can you imagine what that would look like if we have a strong chamber that is able to leverage for those resources for us? If we have a chamber that continues to document and continues to report on the economic contribution of the Hmong community and highlight entrepreneurs that have been very successful. It can go on and on and on. So I call upon us to say that the chamber can only be successful if we as individuals and as successful businesses are willing to put some resources and manpower behind the chamber. I've always been a long partner and supporter of the chamber prior to my time with Hmong American Partnership. And I must say in the 12 years that I've been in my role, that Betsy has been the most active chair, so kudos to you, Mr. Betsy. And I believe that we are very poised as a community to take on this next step, because I often say the Hmong community today is not good enough for the Hmong community tomorrow. The chamber today is not good enough for the chamber tomorrow. The chamber tomorrow is not good enough for the chamber 10 years from now. As a chamber and as a Hmong community, we need to be forward-thinking. We need to be capitalizing on trends and opportunities and leverage those for our community and extend our helping hand to emerging communities because of the strong foundation that we have built as Hmong Americans. So the journey continues, and I embark on this journey and extend an invitation to all of you to stand behind the Hmong Chamber. Thank you.
Thank you. I especially appreciate your collective responsibility. Note for all of us, certainly takes a village, right? And I'm happy to be mistaken for you any day, based on what a powerhouse you are. So thank you. Our last speaker of this evening, before we get to the awards and our closing remarks here, is probably one of the reasons why we, as Hmong people, settled here in Minnesota. As a young Thai man, he was an exchange student in the 1960s at Bloomington Kennedy High School in Bloomington, Minnesota. Just think about that. How rare it was to probably see a person of color in the 1960s in Minnesota. He then led decades of work to make sure the Hmong settled here, were prosperous, and he continues to support us. He's all the way from Thailand today to be with us. He is also a comrade of the late General Ving Pao. He helped many families seek refuge during the war and the years after. He's most recently been working as a serial entrepreneur in aviation, and we are so glad that he's made time to be with us this evening. His name is Mr. Suicha, or Pinoy, as you may all know him by.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pasi, to invite me today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing before you and dinner, so I'm going to keep it quite brief. This has been a very encouraging and very rewarding trip that I've made to come here, to hear the aspiration and the accomplishments of my friends and my descendants of my friends. It has been a great, great trip. And so we're going to spin a little yarns, if you don't mind. As Bao was saying, I came here in 1967, and I attended the high school. Today, Pasi was driving with the top down on his convertible, so I thought, oh, I have a friend who drove me in 1968 before I went in the spring of 1968. So I called up Jim Norton. Jim was my colleague, my classmate at Kennedy High School. So I called Jim to see what I have done damage to this state of Minnesota. Of course, when I went back from 1968, briefly I'll tell you that I had the greatest opportunity of my life to have gone up to Longchamp and work with many of the people who were here today, Yang Si, Yang Long, and who else here. But however, these are some old-timer there. Pia, because she was having her first baby when I was in Longchamp. And that was in late 1973, and General asked me to extend my contract, and I stayed on until the fateful day of May the 14th, 1975, that we all left. So if they have left to Vietnam or they've left somewhere else, I may have escaped them, but they left to Thailand. So I was doing what I could and continued to do what I could have, and I could have done more even. So when all my friends that I knew were in the States, I still continued to do what they asked me to do. And of course, I have a very long relationship with General Vang Pao, who I called him also as a father. because he adopted me in 74. And, but what has always amazed me, I have always asked myself, why do I have to be so attached to the Hmong people? You know? I still couldn't answer that. But it has been a great, great privilege to have been working with you guys. For one, you know, when I was receiving the first family, Vang Leng, who couldn't be here tonight, but I'll see him for breakfast tomorrow. Vang Leng came with, the reason he came here first was because he was working for CIA under Yang Si. Yang Si was the boss on the Hmong patriot side, and so they got to be out here quick. Yang Si was the first refugee to United States. He was sent very early in 1975 to coordinate the work with the State Department to resettle the Hmong from from the temporary camp in Nampong into a more permanent camp in Ban Vinai. And it was Yang Si who has objected to the earlier idea to bring you guys to the Burmese border town of Mae Hong Son, because I was present in that decision. And Yang Si said we should be near the river to collect all the follow-ups. Some of our senior colleagues, Hmong colleagues in Nampong were saying, why should we be there? Because you know, we got 1,500 people, that's all we should be content with. Yang Si said, no, there more will follow. And true to his word, almost 500,000 followed. So we chosen the right place in Pak Chom and built Ban Vinai. So, however, for the last 40 some years here that I've been coming to Minnesota back, I remember that I received Vang Leng and his family on the Valentine's Day in 1976. And we brought him to the house in Rondo. He was a little dazed, and then our church workers said, the governor wants to see you. And Vang Leng said, okay, Pinoy, I'll see you later. Please come to see me later, I've got to see the governor. Because the governor wants to see what a Hmong looked like. I don't remember who was the governor at that time. And the next, you know, Jerry Daniels was coming into town in the next day or two. So he called me again in the morning and he said, hey, I got a job. You know, we knew that he would get a job for sure. And the rest is history, really. But take you back a little bit on my spinning the yarn. You know, when we came out in 1975, Vang Leng was a few volunteers who came to still work in Udon, away from his family for about a month. We had to pick up a lot of people from the Mekong River who were coming out, and we had to do a lot of exertion of the people from Vientiane and several other places, including sending some people to take some people out. So Vang Leng was handling that, while we sent Yang Si first to Washington, D.C. to coordinate the refugee numbers. And when his service is about up, a couple of weeks later, he said, they asked me to go to United States, where should I go? And I repeated, I asked him, you really want to know where I would go? And I said, you know, and he said, yeah, I don't want to go to California. So I said, in that case, you go to Minnesota. I love the people here. When I was here in 67, 68, you can't miss. They have cold hand and warm heart, you know. Yeah. This is the place. Just be careful. So Mac Thompson called me from the consulate and asked me, what the heck did you do? You were sending Sancho, his code name was Sancho, to Minnesota? I said, yeah. He asked me where I should go. You go to Minnesota. So that's just a little bit of it. But however, what have impressed me from Valentine's Day 1976 and now, I've been coming here, numerous times, but there were times that I did not come here when the politics was a little hot between, the Hmong communities. So I stay away. I sneak in sometime to see some people and go out. But what I have noticed when I came here on the Hmong 40 years anniversary of Hmong to America was the role of the women. Pia took me to a nightclub, and then all the ladies were dancing. And Pia said, how you like it, Pinoy? And I said, look, the last time I saw you gals in Ban Vinai was you were picking up woods. And now you are driving, you drove me here, everybody was driving the cars and the accomplishment of women. And just before me, some speakers that came out here, 2 men came up here, okay? One talked about his wife, so afraid of his wife. The other one was so thankful, about his wife. Unbelievable. This is Hmong people? Are you kidding me? No way, man. This gave me the biggest joy, okay? The last 2 days that I have spent here, this morning especially. This morning I went to Bao's ceremony where they are rebuilding the Hmong American, the partnership HAP high school. And, I was still dazed, but when this afternoon before I came here, I went to stop by and see her charter school, and it was incredible. The most important thing that I am very proud, absolutely proud of you Hmong people is that apart from the reinvention of the lady role, the ladies' role, this has never happened in the Hmong history for 1,000 years, written or spoken history, is that you are now so successful and are able to embrace other people, other newcomers into the United States. This is something I am absolutely proud. You can take care of the underprivileged people, especially the people I work with for the last 30 years, the Karen people, the Karenni people, because I am still active in the management of the Thai border with Burma for the National Security Council. And 10 years ago, we decided, the State Department and the Thai government decided that best is to send 180,000 Karen to the United States. In the back of my mind, I'm sure they will end up in Minnesota, majority of them anyway. I didn't say anything very much, but because the program was a little bit different than what you guys had, but I work with the Assistant State Department, Secretary of State Department, Mr. Matthew Daly at that time. And so they're still continuing to come here. Still about 180,000 numbers, and I think they already, 160,000 already come here. IMO still in the process of bringing in 20,000 more, which, they'll land up here for sure. So this is something that makes me very encouraged, very proud, and very privileged to be working with you guys. And in this coming summer, there will be also another step, a very important step that will be, I can be of services again. Both Bao and Paul is going to go over to Thailand to seek alliance with the local and the regional um, Hmong communities in first Thailand, then Laos, Vietnam, and others. That is also strike me as a very, very important step. Just 40 years ago, just right in front of my eyes, I just sent you guys here. Now you are ready to go back, okay, and start helping people around there. That's, if you don't call this a passion, I don't know what you call this. So I will definitely be waiting and helping you guys in your every efforts. So this is so much different from the earlier visits in the last 30 years by the returnees of the Hmong to go there to find women or to find, You guys tremendously have advanced in my expectation. I am absolutely feel absolutely honored to see this change, and from the friend from Wisconsin also, the passion that you have been leading you into committing yourself and continue to do that. Make our old people look to ourselves sometime in shame, is sitting back too much. So I encourage you young guys to also participate in these programs, and I hope that we will be able to bring more exchanges between Thailand and here. I'm going to be bringing some the Ministry of Commerce people. This J4, we will invite the commercial attaché once again to come here and see. I want to see them with the eye big at the J4 ceremonies and all that. So I'm very used to this. Not that I am not surprised, because I know you guys. I know your predecessors. I know your fathers, your uncles. I worked with them for the full 1.5 years. That I was so impressed. So that's why I say I'm not surprised to see what you guys are doing, and we'll be expecting more, even. But the more will be not from the activists, the more from the people on the side. People who are not doing it as yet. Please wake up. This is a time to keep the ball rolling higher and higher. So I'll be here with you tonight. So I thank you very much for invitation. And should there be anything that I would be helpful in Thailand or that region, just call me. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for helping resettle the Hmong in Minnesota. Although we wouldn't have been mad if it was Florida. Hey, these awards are calling their owners. So I'm going to welcome back our board chair, Pasi Yang, to come and join us to recognize some of Minnesota Hmong Chamber's closest allies.
Dr. Marcia, can you come up, please? Well, before I give you the award, I have public announcements. It has been the honor of my life to serve this community, the community that I belong. But now, it's time to say goodbye. For the last 3 years, it has been a long journey for me. Some day, sad, happy, and lonely, and frustrated. But I'm proud to be a Hmong man. I get up every morning, try to do the right thing, trying to fill the gap, but I can't do alone. Thank you to Sia, to Bahav, to Lavoy, and to all my friends, the people that care about the chamber. So, tonight, I want to let you know that my time is up, and I'm stepping down as a chair to turn over to Dr. Marcia as a vice chair. Thank you, Dr. Marcia. Thank you, the board. And thank you, Brother Lance, Dr. Lance, for all of you be on my side and support me. Again, my wife, she's not here, but I have to say thank you to her again. I cannot close before I will get in trouble. So hopefully this will be on the record that I truly thank her from the bottom of my heart for my wife has done. It would have been for her, I would not be here today. She support all the way more than anybody. She don't ask for anything. She's an incredible lady. Thank you, honey. Wherever you are, in the kitchen, I love you. So, again, thank you to the sponsor, the organizations that believe the chamber and support the chamber, especially all the elected official, commissioner, Jim, you're always there. And I hope that you continue to support the chamber and encourage the rest of the commissioner help do the chamber to keep moving on in the right direction. So, Dr. Marcia, tonight, it's all yours. And I'm free now, so thank you. And but no matter what, call me anytime. I will always be here to support the chamber. Chamber has been my passion. So thank you for trusting me and being here for the last 2 years, and all the board member. And again, we will stay connected. And anything I can do, please let me know. Thank you. So we're gonna, since I'm leaving, I see some incredible people that have done so much for the community and for the chamber. So tonight we have 9 incredible people that have done so much for the chamber, and I cannot go without saying thank you. Tonight, all the way from Thailand, Mr. Pinoy. See, Pinoy, how I met Pinoy was shortly October. He flew like he said earlier, he flew in to speak for 10 minutes, and then so when he got off the stage, I said, Pinoy, can we meet for dinner? He said, I'm leaving right now. I said, when can we meet? Peter said, can you come to Thailand? So I said, let's go. so that's how I flew over there to meet Pinoy at the airport for 45 minutes. But I feel like Pinoy has so much, so I have to catch up. But you are not just a friend, but I feel like even though I know you shortly, I feel like you're a father and a brother to me. Thank you. Now, the next person, Kutu Nenzao, Loyal K, AK Akuriya. To, mo kita. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we met. It took us 4 months for us to connect. One of the brother-in-law trying to connect the two of us. And I have to be honest, Nanza, I did not trust that Itu, that's a Hmong lady, is as bright as she is, as smart as she is. So I said, no, don't want to waste time to call. But you know what, that brother-in-law persistent to call me, to call her for, I think, over 3 or 4 months. One day, he said, she's waiting for you. Why don't you call her? I said, no. 5 minutes again, he called me and said, you should call her. I said, okay. Now, after all this time, the worst thing, I wasted 5 minutes of my time. So I pick up the phone, we call her, I call her. As 5 minutes turned into, I think, 45 minutes. And then we continue to talk. And then I listened to her vision, her idea, just incredible. So I said, why don't you come over? And I invite some people to, and you can share some of your product or your service to the community. And that's how we met. And I'm glad that I met a tremendous lady that I claim Itu Ninza Juku. Okay? So, you know, I wish that our community here support the chamber as much as this young lady right here. You know, I emailed to her less than 24 hours. I said, can you be our planning? She already said yes. And I know there's so many people, so many businesses in this community that does so well. But, you know, I emailed the same package to her. How many respond? I wish 5 would respond. But only 1 or 2. So anyway, I really appreciate your leadership. And so tonight, this go to you.
Thank you. 我知道呢，陶子呢，爹妈姑都陶子呢，你从零出头的好姑娘好 Wisconsin 呀，姑去沙地姑有拉，头你一度呢 Minnesota 姑，见着你从零出头呢，姑和你，姑把你从零出头呢好 TV 呢 Facebook social media anywhere，姑抄个姑让你呢，OK， 所以你从沙地，你那姑到 Wisconsin 多那了，姑拉头你从零出头，陶家子姑都姑呢 OK。cho có cú yên hử ni chua lên cho tụi á cú chừng giờ ít tụi mình nhỏ neng lấy tụi nhỏ giàu sa cú chừng chờ lúc la lịch chú ý là ni chua lên cho tụi đó ấy giờ từ cú họ chỉ bảo chỉ chua là thọ ni giả gì thế ni họ kia đó cú thế ấy cú chừng chuan hơn tàu tràn tàu giả yếu cỡ thế thank you so much I'm happy to be able to help the chamber a lot of people said rich people are snobby but I've met some of the most wealthiest people in the world, and they're wonderful people. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is ask. So next time I see a billionaire, I'm going to say, could I have a plane? No. But all you have to do is just ask, and they're more than welcome and more than willing to help all of us. And I believe that a lot of wealthy people, they are where they are because they continue to give. They continue to create jobs, businesses, and do the things that they do. So even if you don't give, I encourage you to volunteer. So don't take it personal or the wrong way. I encourage all of you, any way, shape, or form, being a board member, volunteering, coming to events like this, that's perfectly fine. Not everybody has to give. So, okay? Very sorry, and I don't want anybody to feel like, okay? What's wrong?
Thank you. All right, our next award tonight is Mr. and Ms. Lapocha. They are the one, come on. You see, Gulapo at Nanzagana, they are the couple that's not just support the chamber, but since I get to know them, whoever asks, just like what the Tunanzanahana, whoever asks, they give. Every time I ask, they support. And I'm so proud to be a brother of both of you. You saved the chamber. I truly appreciate what you have done for the chamber in the last 3 years. Thank you.
我讲到半次，哈，但係就幫咩咗學幾種沙咗呢 And then I just want you guys to know that a lot of the time when I go out there, people think that I am the CEO of the Hmong Healthcare, but I just want everyone to know that I want to thank my wife. It's all about the wife in this generation, you know. And you can see that a lot of women come up here and all the guys just like don't know what to do. But you know, this generation is all about the wife. They're so powerful and can do so much. And without the wife, I don't know what we're gonna do. But she is the CEO of Hmong Healthcare. So I think she deserves to say a few words.
Thank you so much for this award. We didn't expect to get anything today. And just to be a part of this is already very special for us. I know that you and Pula work so hard and put your heart and soul into this. And it's a blessing and an honor for us to be able to support something this good. Like I said before, and I say all the time again and again, there's so many bad things happening out there. There's such good things like this happening. And why are we not filling this place up to like out there and there's no seats, right? Well, let me tell you something. It's all about, I don't want Lau to feel bad that nobody, like he planned for 500. I detected a little bit of sadness in his voice earlier. But the important people are here tonight. Is that right? Right? The important people. The people who are passionate, who will give up beautiful night to be here, is here in this room tonight. Congratulations for being here. Because you know what? You're part of the change. You're part of making history happen. And I know Lopansi and Pula Altona, they put their heart and soul into this because they have so many dreams for us. And I want to really thank you guys, because really this award should go to you two. For what you guys have done and for the passion and the hard work and the sacrifice. Even tonight, the whole night, because she's working so hard back there to make us the best food. And that is teamwork at its finest, isn't it? So give a round of applause to them. And also, give a round of applause, like today was what? Milestone? This is a milestone year. I'm really glad to get this, but really, I look to a lot of people in the community as my role models. One of them being Bao Vang, breaking ground today, multi-million-dollar buildings to house education and training and all these good things that are happening, going back to what Mr. Pinoy was saying, giving back to just not only our community, but the communities that are coming in and need our help because we were here before. So a lot of to be proud of. This year is a milestone year because we have the most number of politicians elected in office. Is that right? Here in Minnesota, all right? Not only that, we have the most number of judges here in Minnesota. Oh man, so on the political front, we have a lot of political power and clout, okay? On the economic front, that is a passion that Lapon I've had ever since I can remember. And so it is an honor to be able to support this cause. And I encourage those who have supported Hmong Chamber in the past to not lose hope, okay? Just because things didn't go the way you wanted it, or you helped but didn't seem like it didn't go the right way, remember that it's about persistency. Sometimes it doesn't produce the results quite yet, but if we all are persistent and we believe in the same thing, it will become real, okay? It will. And that's what me and Lapo are all about. We say, hey, we can't give up. We can't give up on you, Panti. No, and you're not going to give up on us. And that's what it takes. We can't give up on each other. So to the nonprofit sector, we're very strong. To the political sector, we're very strong. And to the economic sector, the business sector, okay, we need to do a little bit more. What I'm going to tell you guys tonight is go back home. Don't tell anybody how many people were here. Just say it was full. It was so exciting. You missed out. Oh, man, we learned so much. And next year, you know what? Keep doing that. Because, it takes just a few of us to make this world move, to make this world, change. And we are part of that change. We are the movers and shakers. And I believe that's why you're here tonight, because you have such big passion, such big dream. You gave up your day, beautiful night, to be here because you believe in this cause. And me and Lapo, we are so tickled and happy. We get an award for doing something we love. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to say the last thing about this couple. Last week, they called me and they said, oh, we're going to give you $1,000. I said, that's fine. Next day, he said, I think we can increase to 3,000. See? I don't have to ask. But, incredible people do an incredible thing. So, cô hãy lần mong dọc. Lên nó cũng muốn chỉ tụi nó. Cô ý bảo tụi nó chạy cho cô muốn thọ nhé à. Tại vì cô là cô đã cô hay như là cô chỉ sao tôi thọ nhé thì có thế nào. Cô sẽ chăm một cái. Cô ý muốn chơi mua, cô luôn chơi mua nó, cô chỉ sao thọ nhé là lên từ lửa. Và cô sao cô không mua áp cái gì. Tại vì bây giờ cho bây giờ nó sẽ mình nói là each one make $1, $1. Tomorrow we can do bigger things. $1. Okay, the next one. Tilaway Tar. See, Tilaway has been a brother for the community for the longest I know. He support, he don't just support financially. His time, his dedication. I know wherever I go, the important thing, this brother, this man, he show up. Hey, he bring people, right, Bob? He's incredible. How many of you can give a quarter of a time like my brother right here? I like to see that. I like to challenge you to support Brother Wayne. So I thank you for your time and your leadership, your brothership. You always support me. You believe me. You encourage me. I learn so much from you as a brother. Thank you.
Well, I thank you, for your kind words. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but I'm just, I feel blessed and truly amazed by the kind words and the special recognition by the the Hmong chamber tonight. Hmong chamber exists for I think probably over 20 years or almost 30 years, as far as I can remember. Have been a flat line for a long time until recently a few years ago when Pasi came along. He really pick up everything and build the momentum and reach out to the community and also to the larger community and to make the Hmong chamber become one of the most successful in the in our community today. So really appreciate your effort. Well, since you recognize me today, let me do some. I would like to recognize the Hmong chamber also. My chair, I bring a small check here, $500, okay, donate to the Hmong chamber. And I do urge everyone who bring checkbook today, okay, please support the Hmong chamber.
Thank you, Tila. All right, our next award, Lisa Bunko. Lisa, it's one of our advisor, but a little bit about Lisa. Lisa and Dave were my #1 customer when I have a Hmong house in North St. Paul. They live close by. That's how we met, that's how we connect. They came, bought dinner, sometimes twice, 3 times a week. So we talk and we become friends. And then I learned that they support Hmong College Parent, NDC, and other organizations helping the Hmong. I said, why don't you help with the chamber? I didn't call Lisa, I called Dave. I called Dave and Dave and I, we was talking, and Lisa went on the back, Lisa said, can I join too? I said, 1 for 2, why not? But Lisa, thank you. You has been a great to the community, and this is go to you for your leadership. Thank you.
I want to rush down and say thank you to Kay, so I'm going to keep it quick. Thank you. This is a huge honor. We really appreciate it. And I would love to have some more walnut shrimp someday.
All right, the next one is Miss Sia Her. Sia is from the Council of Asian Pacific Minnesota. Sia, Lu office na Nechipao na. You need to know, Sia, for those who run agency, need anything from state. Whether you're in trouble, good, bad, or what, call Sia. Sia can help you. Sia, since we know each other, some night, Sia and I, we talk 11, 12 o'clock. The first couple times we talked, after 10, 11 o'clock, my wife's really mad. But you know what? She stayed close by. And then, but after a while, she said, when I said, hello, Sia, she said, you better charge your phone. So Sia has been a tremendous sister to me. And Sia, does so much, not just for the Hmong community, but for all the Asian community. And thank you for your service, your leadership. Tonight, you deserve more.
Well, thank you so much, Betsy. I see that the plaque has my name on it, but tonight I'm actually accepting this award on behalf of the full Council on Asian Pacific Minnesotans, because without the best board chair under the sun, Mr. David Maeda, where are you sitting? Right there, that's my board chair. Without David, and I believe our treasurer is here as well, those are two members of the executive committee, and then of course, without my staff, because we came in late, they're sitting in the back. Anjali and Katie, would you stand up? Thank you so much. You know, I recognize that we're late to dinner, but I wanted to take that opportunity to properly thank my executive committee members and my staff, because without them, the council, and with me in the capacity of executive director, we would not have been able to provide the kind of technical support that we have been providing the Hmong Chamber with over the last year, slightly more than a year. And so thank you so much. You know, for those of you in the audience who do not know, the Council on Asian Pacific Minnesotans is a state agency created by the legislature, housed within the executive branch of government. Our chief role and responsibilities, as carved out in state statute, is to advise the governor and the legislature on behalf of all of the 40-plus nations worth of ethnic groups that we identify as Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So here in the state of Minnesota, and our Hmong American community is our largest Asian American community. It's almost double the size of the next largest community under our umbrella. And so to Bao's point made earlier, Minnesota is home to the largest urban concentration of the Hmong in the nation. And you know, I as executive director, when I make that statement, I make it very proudly, because Minnesota has become the city on the hill to Hmong all over the world because of leaders like Betsy and those at the Hmong Chamber. And so I'll just end on the note that, you know, my team and I, we were late getting here tonight, because on the Senate floor of the Minnesota legislature, Senator Herr and all of the other Hmong American legislators newly elected into the House of Representatives, they were working, the senators, to make sure that the Senate would adopt Senator Herr's bill, which is an amendment to recognize May 14th as Hmong American Veterans Day. And so I say to Patsy and the rest of the board members at the Hmong Minnesota Chamber, as well as to all of you who are here tonight, that the work that the Chamber is doing, and that the work that all of us will individually and collectively doing, the work that we do is deeply rooted in the unspoken hopes and dreams of the Hmong who fell in the crossing of the Mekong River into Thailand. And then, of course, the work that we're doing, right, is a manifestation of the hopes and dreams that have been spoken out loud repeatedly in the decades that we have been here in the United States of America. And so my hope, as is the hope of the Council on Asian Pacific Minnesotans, is that together we will continue to strengthen our relationship to ensure that the next chapter of the story of the Hmong is the story of the Americans of Hmong descent, who will have demonstrated that the resiliency of the human spirit can overcome anything and everything, and especially when you are given the platform of Americans, right, of being an American, that anything is possible, and certainly the sky is the limit for all of us. Thank you so much.
All right, our next award goes to Dave Bunko. Dave is a Chuli and an advisor to the chamber, and we should be brother Dave. Thank you. Dave, you know, I call Dave, I know Dave is a professor at the University of River Falls. I know he's busy, but every time I call Dave, he will answer, or he will say, what can I do for you? And he will do it. No, Dave, I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. It really has been working with Patsy and sharing his vision and goals for the Hmong Chamber. We've had some numerous late night conversations. I don't know if that made Kay mad. I hope not. Yeah. So I am dutifully honored by this award, because I find working with you incredibly motivating, and your grit and determination is admirable, and thank you very much. I'm honored.
Our next awards, wow. Mai tông giờ quý từ Tây Lan hả giờ? Ah, I didn't know her until she came to my house, and then we just happened. I'm a type of person that I like to ask, like to know. So I just talked to my to Titlana, and then and I said, well, Natlan wants you. Natlan, she's a website designer. I said, she's a person I need. So I wait, and then one day I said, this past couple months, I said, Natlan, we need a new website. Can you help? And she said yes. And she just took off. So I encourage you to go to the Hmong Chamber of Commerce website. That's the work that she's done. I know that she had family, work, and a life outside of her work, but she was dedicated to make it happen. You know, in terms of people volunteer, this is a truly volunteer person. So, thank you, Natlan.
Board and the team, everything that you've taught me along the way, I've learned so much. So if you need any help, just like to say, just call and ask. Thank you.
Our last one is someone that I truly admire, Manzai Tao from Milwaukee. You know, I met Manzai at Hmong House. Manzai, yeah, I didn't know that until we talked for a while, and then I found out that so sometimes it's so hard for me to call Manzai. Sometimes it's so hard to call Nyang. So when I write an email to her, go call Manzai Nyang. But you know, she's an incredible lady. When I talk to her, I try to recruit her to Minnesota. You know, I wait for the first time we talked. I said, "When are you gonna come to Minnesota?" She said, "Maybe next year." I said, "I'll wait." A year by, I said, "Are you ready?" She said, "No, another year." I said, "Okay, wait 2 years." So I said, "Okay, you're not coming anymore." So I gave up. But we're gonna need your help. You know, every time I call her, she will help us. She said, "We can be partner. Anything I can do to help, I will help you." So share knowledge. This lady, this woman right here, don't be afraid to ask her. She will not hide anything from you, I can tell you. And I truly thank you for the service you have done for the Wisconsin Chamber, and look forward for your leadership to work with the Minnesota Hmong Chamber as well. So, all the way from Milwaukee, so little for you. Thank you.
Ocho, Patang go to high up in Lula, to she, thank you so much, Clampati. Clampati, lawyer, Clanno Luna Guna. Cho nên trong mỗi dạng họ lời chính giờ nợ cũ có giờ chỉ nên món thọ ha, so cô chỉ li phải hút lăng nấu lời ha sư. You know, but really it does come back to bây giờ chúng ta đã can support each other. Bây giờ Hmong business, the patronage we give to them, they turn around and give back to our community by creating jobs, right, and really raising up our economy. So I do just really look forward to bây giờ Hmong business leaders here in town. Really, you know, because I was kind of in the shoes where I wasn't ready to come back to the chamber or to the work of the chamber because we had a lot of issues in our organization back then. And then, you know, and so it is about coming back. And Noah, wherever you are in the back, it is a lonely road, but I am here. Just give us a call. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna close by saying that though for those who that chỉ tao award là có mấy bao the chia của nhà nhà bố cho nó của mua na có mấy bao lần na, but they truly deserve. They are the leader of the community ta. I wish mấy bao bố cho rong lực của bao na. They are some of the people that I wish there are more like họ bay more cho là nó so little. The thing that they gave to the chamber or to this community is beyond. But then they can't do alone. We can't do alone. We need more. So I encourage you to, like many said, involve with the chamber, involve with the community. You know, you bet you act now. Since I joined the chamber, I learned so much. If I wouldn't be joining the chamber, I would not know these people, incredible people like the official, Mucho. Even these people tonight, I might not have a chance to meet. So tonight, these people are here. I mean so much to me, and I will share your brother, sistership for the rest of my life. And then Bao, lastly, as I stepping down, there's a lot of work for the HAP and for the chamber to move on. And I encourage you, leadership, to support the chamber. And then one day, we look back. I hope that we can continue to support so many needs of their, you know, like Hmong town, Hmong village, they need us the most. So again, thank you for all of you guys. And then my time's up, so I must say goodbye to you. But we will stay connected. And let's go enjoy my wife's cooking and her dinner tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to step in and say a couple words. I'd like for everybody to get up and give Patsi a round of applause. He's been the driving force behind the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce. He's been the one that has made the chamber relevant again. I've had a business for about 8 years now, and I've never heard of the chamber until Patsi's introduced me to chamber. And understanding that we have over 500 businesses just around Minnesota, we are going to be the powerhouse, and we need something like the chamber going forward. And I really appreciate all of our sponsors today, as well as the planning committee to make this a successful event. I look forward to you guys not only being sponsors and people backing up Patsi, but also to continue to help make this chamber bigger going forward. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think I am really between dinner, so I will keep it very, very brief. Thank you. I am the event chair here, and I do, before we close out, I want to say thank you very much to the various speakers. Your message are inspiring, and your words of wisdom are always encouraging to the community, so we'll continue carry on. Beyond that, I want to say special thanks to the sponsorship. Without you, it wouldn't happen. Claudio Mohaya, and I want to say thank you to the community leaders that you have brought out the communities and the community. And I want to close out that Marcia here, she is going to be our new chair, and we gave a round of applause, possible round of applause to Marcia here, to welcome Marcia as well. With that, I want to bring our MC back to lead us into the diner room. And thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your patience. You may all rise now. We do have ushers at the end of the hall here and right around at the exit signs. They will lead you to dinner, so please stay around with us. We have so much more to come, including we'll see Noah Herr again, the Interim Executive Director, about a message for you and how you can get involved. Thank you so much. Our ushers will lead you to dinner.